Today, some further indicators as to what's going on. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Welcome to our latest post covering finance and property news with a distinctively Australian flavour. And today I'm joined again by Edwin Almeida, our property insider. Hello, Edwin.
G'day, Martin, and pleasure to see you once again. It's been a while.
Been a long time. Look, I've got a few questions that have come up from the viewers. And so I wanted to sort of throw them at you and see what your reaction is. The first question that's come up a lot is the pressure that's being applied to first-time buyers by the mainstream media. You know, the theme goes, property prices have dropped 10%, interest rates are really low, first-time buyer incentives are there, first-time buyers, you should be in the market now. Is that true, or do you think there's another side to the story?
Look, you only have to look and read as to who's pushing that that narrative. I mean, straight out, my rebuttal to all that is, why in the hell would you want to catch a falling Scud missile? You know, it's not just a knife that you're catching; it's a Scud missile that's headed straight down into your wallet. That'll blow everything up in your bank account. It's just a narrative that obviously that there are agencies, and one of the main propagators of this narrative is a fellow good old mate that also listed his company on the stock exchange, and I do believe the shares did start at 280 and now they're at about 24 cents. So that was a great call. So I guess if you want to follow that, you go out and buy. And if you're also a believer that there's going to be a few beaches along Parramatta River, well, you just go out and buy. It is funny that, not funny, but it's peculiar that in an interview that I had with a reporter yesterday with regards to an article that's going to come out in the Australian Financial Review, even some of the reporters felt that the market was going to be turning around at the end of the year. But where's the hard data? There is no hard data for them to rely on. When we asked them as to, okay, well, under what premise? And they said, because so and so said so. Well, you only have to look at the historical references that they've made with regards to property values and the market turning around the middle of this year, or even going up 4 to 8% last year, and that says it all. I'm still of the opinion that the market is going to drop, and I do still believe, Martin, that we're still going to be close to a 12% drop in the first half of this year. I know we're running at about 3.1 or 3.3% drop in the first 3 months already, and that's just the lead up. It's going to start gaining a lot more momentum in the next 3 months, because the last 3 months figures are typically from November, December, January. As you know, a lot of this data is delayed. But when I look at what was happening as we've seen what's happening in January, February, there's been a lot of carnage on the ground. So I'd say to your followers, Martin, just sit back, make another, go out and get another bowl of popcorn and just watch it all unfold.
Yeah, because of course, if you've saved that 10% deposit and then you go out and buy and prices drop another 10%, you basically lose every cent that you saved, right? Because of the leverage relationship between, the amount that you put in relative to the mortgage that you have. And if prices continue to fall, not only do you actually lose your deposit completely, but then you start going into negative equity. And at that stage, you've got a really significant issue, particularly if you try to sell subsequently. So I think I'm with you, Edwin, that unless you've got an absolutely, burning reason to buy, hold off. Next year, you'll be able to buy cheaper. You'll be able to buy closer in. You'll be able to buy better for lower prices. And, there's no panic. There's no need There's no urgency to this at all.
No, there isn't. And when you even at the such low, this is all playing out at very low interest rates, which is unprecedented. It's almost one of these these shows where you watch somebody dive from about 30 meters above ground into a shallow pool. In this case, this individual is going to be diving from 100 meters above ground into a bloody glass. A small cup of coffee. Let's see if he survives. Let's see if they survive. It's unprecedented. All this is playing out on a canvas or on a powder keg of low interest rates, and this is the scary thing. This is what a lot of people don't understand, and they don't see the fact and the amount of. And we're still building. And and I've been saying over and over again, we've got enough already built to last us for the next 5 years. If construction stopped today, it's not going to stop today, obviously, and there's a hell of a lot more in the pipeline. There's going to be a lot of choices later on. So there, when you look at the other side of that coin, is even at such low interest rates. I've done my maths across various suburbs in Sydney, and I've compared the interest rates payable to a bank, the lowest possible, payable to a bank if it was only interest-only repayment, compared it to what you would be paying to rent a property in that particular suburb, apartments and houses, and the renting trumps it every single time. Now, not in all suburbs, but in a good 70 to 80% of them. A lot of them are very close and on par, but the question is, why would you want to commit to a purchase when you know there's going to be a further 10, 15, 20% drop in prices? And like you said, there's that initial deposit that you will lose, but there's also the added cost. There's the conveyancing costs, the legal costs, the relocation costs. There's a lot of other costs involved in that transaction. And if it's anything above the free stamp duty threshold, well, then there's also stamp duty, and you can quickly add another 5%. And as I said, Martin, usually what we do, because that's what we do, and that is we buy something and then we don't like the color, we don't like the carpet, we don't like the flooring, we don't like this, and you can add another 5% on top of that, because we've redone things. Even if it's new, we still change things around. So there's all these added costs that people are going. You've got the potential of losing.
Absolutely, and the other point to make, of course, is that rentals are actually going down at the moment. So you can actually rent more cheaply in Sydney, around Sydney, than you could a year ago, 2 years ago. So the formulation at the moment is renting is probably better than buying, and you can also, of course, if you do that, save a little bit more for later. So I think it makes a lot more sense. So I don't believe the time is right to buy at the moment. Second question. This is one from another viewer. Units versus houses. What's the different dynamic in terms of prices in a falling market? Are units tending to move further, more quickly down compared with houses, or is it across the market, or is it more location rather than type of property?
Well, I think you've got to take a helicopter view or bird's eye view of this, and you've got to look at everything holistically. Location, suburb, and obviously the type of properties. When I say the type of properties, what type of apartment, new, established, when was it built, who built it, and likewise with homes. But overall in general, I sort of revert back to something that I've come up with almost 9 years ago, and that's what I call property osmosis. And that's typically what happens when we've had property booms, where the boom generally starts in the transaction value of the actual land, the land component, and then it's what you can put or what you can rebuild on that portion of land. And obviously this comes, this is what happens when there's the boom. You start getting in the 2000 boom, you started getting your a lot of construction around your 3-story walk-ups, and we went to 4 levels, and then we went to 6 levels, and that's what was being built around that time. You saw the odd ones here and out in certain centres that were 9 levels, 11 levels, and that's more or less as far as they got. And in the recent boom that we've seen them shoot up to 20 levels, 30 levels, and then you've got your Eiffel Tower scenarios and the like. And that comes back to again my thing on property osmosis, where it comes back to the value of the land. So when you start looking at the value of the land component, then that is what I mainly focus all my theories and analysis on, is what you can rebuild on that portion of land. So land across Sydney has been coming down drastically. You only have to look at areas such as as I keep on pointing out, the Blacktown LGA, my canary in the coal mine, has been the canary in the coal mine for the last property downturns, where the land values have plummeted. And in this case, they've already plummeted in some areas, Martin, up to 50, 60%, which is alarming. So once you take that into consideration, then, okay, there's the rule of thumb. Now comes the short answer to your follower's question, and that is you're going to see the rise in apartments in the high-rise apartments, because you could put more on a portion of land, like Parramatta, for example, on 1,000 square meters. 10 years ago, you could only build approximately 22, 25 apartments close to the CBD. Now you can put 110 on 1,000 square meters on there, because the LEP changes and the changes. So the value of the land component has increased. So they're the issues. So, and now as apartments, as these developments rose, it pulled the surrounding areas or the surrounding dwellings up in value as well. Homes, townhouses, villas, older established dwellings, they come up in value as well, because you only have to compare with the values of the new as to the established, and people started making the comparisons. Well, why should my house that's 3 bedrooms on 600 square meters be worth the same as a 2-bedroom apartment in a newly built complex? So then the values just started to increase. So yes, apartments generally pull the values up, and then apartments are going to be what's going to pull the values down of everything around it as well. So apartments are going to go and are going down rapidly, more rapidly than homes, but sooner than later, homes follow because of that. As I said, that indicator that I have there.
Yeah, so I guess interesting then on units versus houses. I guess the last question for you today from another viewer is, when you value property in the declining market, right, how much of the valuation is thinking about future declines versus current declines? And specifically, what's the difference between a market valuation and a for sale valuation? And how does that all work out in a falling market?
Again, it's a very good question, but I'll give you. I'm going to try and simplify and generalize it as much as I can, and I'm going to put myself in. I'm going to put myself in 2 positions. I'm going to more or less share two positions that I'm currently in with a couple of clients. With regard to one of them buying a block of land and another one buying. Me assisting them to buy a principal place of residence. So what I'm looking for in both cases is a look at the current values as today, and I'm taking out at least 20% in terms of to determine a future value. Now, when I say 20%, and that's because these two individuals, these 2 separate clients, want to buy now. uh, as much as I've been trying to encourage people to wait. They want to buy now. They've got their reasons, albeit in the minds of justified. They just want to buy it now. So I'm looking at anywhere between 15 to 20% bargaining strategy in order to say that I helped them get a good deal, not a great deal, but get a good deal that I can feel comfortable with myself and my providing my service. And so it's an education process. I would say valuers in the most part. Now, some valuers that you have as followers may think otherwise, but valuers are generally looking at about a 10% further downfall, and they're going to be anywhere between 5 and 10% of some of the current sales. Not all, but depending obviously on the property and the location. There are a lot of other indicators that come into play with valuations. But for myself, as a rule of thumb, and just to help to give a general approach so that your followers can sort of have a guideline, bargain hard. Go out there and negotiate hard, bargain hard. If you can get it anywhere above 15% is good. If you can get a 20% discount from from what they're asking, or the agent selling you that it'll sell for, well then, it's great for now. But that's just. But it's one of these sliding rules, Martin. It's one of these sliding scales. I still think there's a lot of meat in the market to be lost. A lot of value in property to still be to dwindle down and to before we hit the trough. So it's but people have also got time restraints, unfortunately, and that's just the way it is.
Interesting. Okay, but what you're telling me is that the valuation, it depends, right? So the number that might be thrown around, that isn't necessarily exactly objectively right. Could be down, and if you are taking a forward view, you should be thinking below it.
Definitely, it's exactly. It's look, you can get if you're going to be relying on the information that the realestate.com.au and Domain show you as an indicator as to the ideal price for the property or the type of property that you're looking at on their website, well, I can tell you now, Martin, that you can take 30% off that. They are very bullish on their price point indicators, and you can only and for various reasons, but one of them mainly is because the data is not up to date. A lot of the data that a lot of these mainstream economists and analysts, or what I call the delusional analytics, or the delusional economics that they apply, is based on data that's either 3 or 6 months old. You need to get a hold and you need to get a grasp of live data. Yes, a lot of agents aren't disclosing the information, and they're not disclosing the sold information to the main property portals, and they're not going to report it. A lot of them have to rely until they get settled and with a value general and noted down, formally noted down. But even then, after that, from the sale of a property to settlement is anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks, as I've said before. It could take a little bit longer still. And then you've got another lag of 2 to 4 weeks. So the data, even the official data, is going to be close to 3 months old. Let alone when agents withhold sale prices and the like. So when viewers need to get a hold, and there are a lot of places that you can now get live data, and the main one being, of course, Digital Finance and Analytics. Those bastards, have a habit of, sourcing this real data stuff, and I don't know where they get it from, but this Martin North character, he seems to be on top of it.
Well, I won't disclose my sources, but yeah, funnily enough, we come at it rather differently. And that's, of course, important because it flows into then with for sale values and loan to value ratios and those sorts of things. And that's one of the reasons why we think that around 10% of properties across the country now are in negative equity, because we're taking real prices, not those ones from 6 months ago that were always overstated in any case. So that's an important thing for people to understand.
Very much. And I just inject this in there. I mean, I saw there was the property punch up of the decade with Christopher Joy and a good old mate, John Adams, and I think they call him John Uppercut Adams or something like that. I think that's what he was known in his younger days. And the interesting thing there was that one party, I won't say who, was relying on statistics from 12 months ago and graphs from 12 months ago. And this is the danger. This is the danger of your delusional economists and delusional economics and analysts. And that is they rely on data. Data nowadays that's more than a month old is too old, especially if you have to make a decision. Things are happening so rapidly. You need to have your finger on the pulse, and I want to commend John for that, for his information. But that's what people need to get a hold of is real live data.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can't rely on the stuff that was too old because things are moving too quickly. That's the problem. When you're in front of a fast-moving train, you have to be able to run fast to keep up.
That's right. And I'll have to go out and do another 5 kilometres jog because I have to keep on moving as well, Martin.
Edwin, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate your insights. We'll talk again soon.
All the best. And as always, thank you for having me on your show.
So there you have it. Edwin's views are, I think, really important, specifically relating to the question of property valuations. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.